What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Alright guys, so we are going to basically do a tad bit of catching up. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to DC Comics currently right now, we have the dawn of DC. Now, the dawn of DC is kind of like this fresh start, this new beginning for DC Comics, to kind of bring in new readers, but to also bring back old readers as well. Now, with that being said, when it comes to the dawn of DC, most of the characters basically restarted. And what I mean by that is, their last series was canceled and then relaunched with a #1. So for example, Superman, his last series was canceled, relaunched with Superman #1. But not all characters got that treatment, like Batman. For Batman, his current series has been going on since DC Rebirth. But instead of just restarting his series, they're just going to say, you know what, keep going, and we'll tell fans when the dawn of DC actually starts for Batman. And so with that being said, Batman Dawn of DC actually starts with Batman number 135. But when it comes to Batman, we kind of have to do a tad bit of catching up to get the full story of what's going on with Batman so that we can actually jump into the dawn of DC for Batman. And so we're going to cover the storyline called Failsafe. Now, Failsafe is a really good storyline, but of course, it does get us ready for the current Dawn of DC stuff that's happening right now in Batman comics, even though this story is not part of the Dawn of DC. And so getting into today's video, we actually pick up with Batman number 125. Now, with that being said, we actually pick up in the past with Alfred. Now, the reason why we know it's in the past is for two reasons. One, Alfred is dead at this point in DC Comics, and two, the book tells us. But either way, we actually do see Alfred right now in the Batcave. Now, while he's in the Batcave, you do have Alfred go to a particular area of the Batcave. And when he does, he hears a beeping sound. And so when he hears this beeping sound, he does pull out some device to reset whatever was making that beeping sound, to basically make it stop. Now, this moment right here is actually going to be somewhat important down the road for the rest of the Batman Failsafe story. Now, the next page actually shows us a nightmare that Batman is having right now, which is that the three Jokers are killing off different family members of the Bat family. So, Selina Kyle, Tim Drake, Nightwing, Damian Wayne. Now, this is actually very important because it shows that Batman really does cares for his family members, every single one of them. Now, if you're wondering why in the world there are three Jokers, a couple years ago, DC gave us the three Joker storyline where basically the first Joker that Batman had fought against had just kept making more and more Jokers until the world had the perfect and right Joker. Now, over the years, Batman never knew that he fought against three Jokers, but then he found out, oh my gosh, this entire time I have been fighting different Jokers here and there across Gotham. But either way, back to the nightmare, this is Bruce Wayne kind of realizing that his worst fear is watching everybody he loves basically die. And so then you have Bruce Wayne actually wake up. Now, when he does, of course, he calls Selina Kyle. Now, this is DC continuing the idea of Batman really wants to be with Selina and vice versa. Like, these two characters really want to be together, but they just can't. And honestly, DC has been doing that for the last few years. I mean, they've been doing that for years and years and years. But ever since DC Rebirth, they really have been kind of pushing it really hard, like, hey, I know you fans want to see Batman and Selina Kyle settling down and being that power couple, but it's not going to happen just yet. Either way, when he does call her, it's really him just want to hear her voice, but to also kind of like express how much he cares for her, but he understands they can't be together. But then he hears a guy's voice in the background, meaning that Selina Kyle had a guy over last night, which of course tells Bruce Wayne, hey, hang the phone up, man. Just hang it up. Like, she loves you, but she's trying to move on, and she can't move on because of you. But then we actually get into the actual story, or the main plot line for this story, where we actually do pick up with the GCPD right now having a hostage situation where basically some random thug is holding a rich couple hostage right now, and the police are trying to figure out how in the world they're going to handle this problem. Now, you do have Batman being Batman. He breaks into the building to basically stop the guy. Now, like I said, this is going to lead us right into the main story of Batman Failsafe. But when you have Batman going inside the building to stop the guy, and he does, he's hoping that the couple that was being held hostage are not dead. Unfortunately, when Batman goes into the other room to see if they're alive, of course, he comes to find out they are dead. And that right there ticks off Batman so much, he turns around, he grabs the thug and said, "Who sent you? Why did you do this? Why did they want you to do this? I want answers now." And that is the moment where we actually pick up with the Penguin. Now, this is huge because this is the Penguin on live television saying, "Hey, listen, I'm coming after everybody in Gotham who basically has money." And when I say money, I mean, if you are rich and you're in Gotham, I'm coming to kill you guys off. And the reason why, because I feel like it's not fair that you guys have all that money to use to help your city out and you don't do it. But on top of that, most of you guys never had to actually struggle. And so it's the Penguin saying, you folks out there who are basically rich, you deserve to struggle. You deserve to die because you have not helped Gotham at all. And so with that, it's the Penguin saying, "Hey, I'm coming after everybody rich," which means that he actually killed that rich couple off earlier. He sent that guy to kill that couple because they were rich and they never had to work hard in their life in his eyes. And so then we actually pick up with Batman and Tim Drake. Now, at this point in DC Comics, we have two Robins. We have Tim Drake and we also have Damian Wayne. Now, Tim Drake is Batman's Robin right now in Gotham. Damian's just running around the world right now. Either way, though, you do have Tim Drake coming to Batman because it's Tim Drake actually worried for Batman. And the reason why, because the couple we saw earlier was actually close friends to Bruce Wayne. And so now it's kind of like this man just lost two more people in his life. And so it's Tim Drake saying, it's weird how the Penguin is going after rich people because he feels like they have never done anything good for Gotham, that they never done anything to help Gotham. But instead, it's really Tim Drake and Bruce kind of like, yeah, it makes no sense because the Penguin is also rich. He has money, but how has he actually helped Gotham out? And so right now, it's Bruce and Tim saying, we have to stop the Penguin, so let's work together. And luckily for them, there is a huge party that is going to happen tonight in Gotham where all the rich folks are going to go. And so to Bruce, he's kind of like, that would be the Penguin's best moment to basically complete his goal because all the rich folks in Gotham are going to be at that event and he will try to kill all of them at once. And so you do have Batman be Bruce Wayne and act like he's going to the party because he was invited to the party, which he was. But while you have Batman being Bruce Wayne right now at the party, just walking around doing his thing, but at the same time trying to figure out how in the world the Penguin is going to pull this off and how can they stop the Penguin from actually pulling his master plan off. You do have Tim Drake as well, kind of walking around the building as Robin in the shadows and trying to find the different things the Penguin basically has set up to kill all the people in this building, which Tim Drake actually finds because Batman realized when an event like this right here, most likely the Penguin is going to use some kind of gas to kill everybody at once and then leave. So find where the source of that gas would actually come. And so that is the moment you do have the Penguin actually appear. Now, when the Penguin actually appears, he does confirm that he was trying to use some kind of gas as a way to kill off all the rich people in the building. Now, luckily for those people, that Tim Drake found a source of the gas and has stopped it. And then you have Bruce Wayne kind of halfway change into Batman to show Penguin that his plan had basically failed. And so we're kind of left to believe that this entire story is about to be wrapped up so quickly, but we know there's no way the story can be wrapped up so quickly and easily. Because yes, the Penguin is scared of Batman. Yes, he's upset with the idea that Batman had actually stopped his plan. But when Batman goes to actually capture the Penguin, that is the moment he comes to find out that right now, the Penguin was never there. The person who was pretending to be the Penguin was actually Clayface. And this is actually huge. And what Clayface actually tells us is that the Penguin planned for this to happen. He knew that Batman would find a way to actually stop the gas from being used in this building. And so instead, what he was going to do next is just trap everybody inside and blow it up. And so you have Clayface kind of like, hey man, you basically failed. The Penguin won and you're about to lose. Now, that is the moment you have Batman actually say, you know what, Clayface, I have something new in my belt that can actually do a whole lot of harm to you. So if I was you, I would actually help me instead of trying to fight against me. And so you do have Clayface actually agree, because he's kind of like, wait a second, Batman has something that could do some heavy damage to me. You know what? Fine. I will basically help you out. But then as soon as you have Tim Drake trying to help the people get out of this trap building before everything crumbles on top of them, well, one of the thugs that was working for the Penguin that Tim Drake took out earlier does pull his gun out and shoots Tim Drake right through the neck. And it's kind of like, oh my God, are we about to have another death for Tim Drake? Because homeboy died at the very beginning of DC Rebirth. And so it's kind of like, it hasn't even been 10 years and you guys are about to kill off Tim Drake all over again. But we can tell right off the bat that they're not going to kill off Tim Drake in this storyline, but it is still very important. And the reason why, because as you have Batman actually taking Tim Drake to a nearby hospital, he starts begin to kind of think back to Jason Todd, and he remembers how bad it was seeing Jason Todd get hurt and Jason Todd die in his arms. And so right now that fear is coming right back in his head right now. He's wondering, am I about to lose another Robin, Tim Drake? And so you do have Batman take Tim Drake to a nearby hospital. Now, he does change Tim Drake's outfit, meaning that he gets him out of his Robin outfit and back in regular clothes, just in case the doctors do begin to wonder, you know what, let's see who Robin is. Oh my God, it's Tim Drake. This is Batman's son, Bruce Wayne's son, which means that Bruce Wayne must be Batman. And so to save their secret identities, you have Bruce change the outfit of Tim Drake into regular clothes and then goes inside the hospital. And so then we see Batman actually go to a nearby hospital. Now, when he does, you would think, okay, he's going to go visit Tim Drake in the hospital, but he's not. Instead, he's actually going to visit the Penguin in the hospital. And the reason why, because Penguin is actually dying from mercury poisoning. And that right there is actually very huge. And you can see why. But you do have Batman coming to the Penguin and asking him, why are you doing this? Why are you coming after the rich folks in Gotham? And you have the Penguin tell Batman once again, because they're not helping. They have all that money, but instead of helping regular people, instead of trying to help Gotham get better, instead they keep their money to themselves. But on top of that, they look down on the people who don't have money. And that right there bothers me. Now, for Batman, he's kind of like, Penguin, you also have money, which honestly makes his entire thing not making sense at all. But then you have the Penguin say, no, Again, you're not looking at the big picture though. My family had money. Then we lost our money. But then I was able to rebuild an empire under my family name. But because I came from the bottom to the top, they still look at me as scum. They still look at me as a regular person because of where I came from. And that right there bothered me. Now, you have Batman say, you know what? Who cares? Either way, you still killed close friends of mine. But then you have the Penguin say, your friend? The first couple that died? They were not good people. They had all that money, and they hardly did any good with that money at all. Now, for Bruce Wayne's kind of like, that's not true. I know some things they did with that money that had actually helped Gotham. But then you have the Penguin just lists out a bunch of things that just outnumbers the good things that Bruce Wayne is saying, which shows that his old friend was actually bad. That his old friend had all that money, and he was not doing all the good things he should have done with the money he had. And so it's the Penguin saying he and the rest of them deserve to die. But the Penguin's plan is not done just yet. Because what he does next, he takes a pill. And when he takes that pill, of course he dies. But here's the problem though. He's in the hospital. And so when he dies, his monitor shows he flatlined, which of course tells the nurse something is happening right now in the room of the Penguin. And so when she runs into his room to see him, it looks like that Batman had just killed the Penguin. And that right there is very huge. And you'll see why here in a moment. But you have Batman realize he has to leave because right now it looks like he had just killed the Penguin. Now, with the death of the Penguin, it's huge because right now you have all these different news channels basically talking about the idea that Batman had just killed somebody. This is huge. Why did Batman kill the Penguin? He just snapped. And so right now it's Batman being labeled on the news as a killer. And that right there is a problem because we then jump over to the old Batcave of Bruce Wayne. And the reason why I say the old Batcave, because that Batcave was underneath Wayne Manor. But Bruce Wayne had lost Wayne Manor. And so it's called the old Batcave because Batman has a new one somewhere else. Either way though, let's not forget that earlier at the very beginning of the storyline, Alfred went to a particular part of the Batcave to turn something off that was trying to come online. But with Alfred being dead and not being there to shut off that program does come online. And that program is called Failsafe. It was actually made to stop Batman just in case he has gone too far. And right now the news is saying that Batman is a killer. And so to this program right now, Batman has gone too far and he needs to be stopped now. And so getting into Batman number 126, we actually do pick up with Batman right now talking to us, the readers. Now, when he does, it's really more of Batman trying to tell us that how he looks at the Bat family. When he looks at the Bat family, it's not really him looking at them like, hey, you know, I look at you guys as soldiers. Instead, he says, I look at you guys as my sons, as my daughters. He cares for them so much. He loves them so much that he wished that they would have a better life, a life without being a hero, because this life is not easy. And so when he goes to check up on Tim Drake, he shows how much he cares for Tim Drake. He's like, hey, Tim, you should be in bed right now. You've been shot through your neck, which tells us some time has passed by between Batman 125 and 126. Either way, it's Bruce saying you should be in bed right now, resting. You were shot through your neck. But this is Tim Drake saying, I'm not your sidekick. You don't control me. I'm your partner. I'm here to help you. And I really hope you realize that. And you have Tim Drake leave. But again, it was really Batman showing concern for Tim Drake, but also wishing that Tim Drake had a better life away from the hero life. And so then you have Batman go back to his Batcave. But while being in the Batcave and kind of just minding his business, well, that is the moment something or someone actually begins the process of sneaking sneaking up on him from behind. And of course, it is fail safe. Now, fail-safe shows that Batman is not going to stand a chance at all. I mean, as soon as fail-safe appears, he begins to beat down on Batman. Now remember, fail-safe was basically made to stop Batman if he had gone too far, which right now the news is saying Batman killed the Penguin. He went too far. And fail-safe was just waiting for this moment, constantly reading the news. And when he heard the news that Batman had supposedly killed off the Penguin, you have failsafe here to basically stop Batman. Now, here's the thing though. Batman kind of tells us that he does not remember making failsafe. And that right there is actually very important, because how can failsafe be made if Batman never actually made failsafe? And so that leads into a very important question. Either way though, it's Batman realizing that he is unable to actually stop failsafe, and failsafe is continuing to beat down on Batman so much that Batman has a lot of broken bones and body parts left and right. I mean, the dude is getting his butt whooped, and it does look like failsafe is about to kill off Bruce Wayne. But that is the moment you have some members of the Bat family arrive to actually help out. And so you do have Spoiler, Signal, and Cassandra Cain Batgirl there to fight against failsafe. But honestly, it doesn't matter, because we just saw failsafe beat down on Batman. Now, you could say, hey, that's not fair because he caught Batman off guard, which means that Batman could have possibly stopped failsafe. But again, it doesn't matter, because when these three guys jump in, you have failsafe just beat down on every single one of them like it was nothing. But they have to continue to fight against them long enough so that Tim Drake is able to get Batman out of there and somewhere safe. And you have Tim Drake call up Oracle, which is Barbara Gordon, and say, call up Leslie Thompson, the doctor on the team, and basically say Batman needs some help, some medical help, because he is seriously injured. But while you have Tim Drake trying to do that, yeah, you have failsafe just beating down on Spoiler, Signal, and Cassandra Cain like it's nothing to him. Now, as you have Tim Drake and Batman getting away, you have Nightwing step in. And honestly, you would think like, okay, Nightwing is here. The best Robin, the best fighter out of all of them is here, and he is going to help out. And you have failsafe show Nightwing, boy, you really think you can stop me? I took down your mentor. What makes you think you could take me down? Bam, you have Nightwing taken down just like that. But then we actually pick up with Leslie Thompson. Now, this is actually very important because she is the doctor in the Bat family, but this is why it's so important. Bruce Wayne and Tim Drake was supposed to go there to her to get medical help. They're not there because Batman realized, hey, I think this guy knows everything about me. It's not safe for Leslie if I actually go there, because if I do, she'll get hurt in harm's way. And so you have Batman and Tim Drake go somewhere else. But because failsafe heard Tim Drake call up Oracle and say Leslie Thompson, he went there anyway, and to show us that he knew where Leslie Thompson would be at, which means that failsafe does know everything about Batman. And so we actually do pick up with Bruce Wayne and Tim Drake going to a particular area of the Batcave. Now, when they get to that particular area of the Batcave, it's really more of Bruce Wayne realizing that it wasn't him who actually created failsafe, but at the same time it was him. And what I mean by that is him saying it wasn't this persona. It was another persona I created that had basically created failsafe to stop me just in case I have gone too far. And so you have Batman go into the Batcave and he does change outfits. And when he does, he comes out in a different outfit. Now, Tim Drake is very confused because Tim Drake actually never saw Bruce Wayne in this outfit. But basically, it's Tim Drake meeting the Batman of Zur and Ra. this is another persona that Batman had made in his mind. And of course, this persona is the reason why Failsafe is alive and well, because he made Failsafe to stop Batman if Batman has gone too far. But then we get into Batman number 127. Now, when we do, we actually pick up with Batman and Superman having a conversation. Now, of course, this takes place in the past, but this section is actually referencing a story known as Tower of Babel. Now, in that storyline right there, it was basically the idea that Batman had built secret files on each member of the Justice League at that time as a way to basically take them down just in case they went too far or they go too far and they are needed to basically be stopped. The problem was, though, he did not tell the League about those files, and those files got out and were actually used against the Justice League, which of course it hurt the heroes really bad, but they were able to overcome the situation. The problem was, though, it was revealed to them that those things that happened to them was because of Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne had built files to find a way to stop them. And so the League had kicked Batman out. Now, when they did that, Batman and Clark had another conversation after Batman was kicked out. And the problem was, though, is Superman wondering why Batman did that. And Batman said, because you guys are basically gods. If you guys go too far, who can stop you? We need plans just in case to stop each other. But then you have Clark as Bruce. Okay, if you have plans to stop us, then what's your plan to stop you? Now, for Batman, his plan was the Justice League. But then you have Superman say, that's a bad plan. And the reason why, because it's still you. Even if you went too far and we have to basically stop you, you would just use the plans that you had already created to stop us at the first time and use them again against us, which means that even if you go too far, we can't stop you. And so how in the world do we stop the man who had plans to stop everybody else? But getting back to the present day, we actually do pick up with Tim Drake and Bruce Wayne. Now remember, Tim Drake never met this version of Batman, never. But what you have this version of Batman telling Tim Drake is that when it comes to the Batman of Zur and Ra, it's basically a form or persona in Batman's mind where he's just 100% Batman. That is it. And what he means by that is when it comes to the regular Batman, the black and gray outfit, that Batman is 50% Batman and 50% Bruce Wayne. But this version of Batman is just Batman only, have basically got rid of the Bruce Wayne persona. But what's happening right now is that this persona of Batman is telling Tim Drake that Bruce Wayne, or the other persona of Batman, realized they needed something to basically stop him if he went too far. And of course, that's where Failsafe came in. The problem was the other version of Batman could not be trusted to make Failsafe. And so this version of Batman actually made Failsafe. Here comes the next thing, though. Remember, when it came to Failsafe, we actually saw him at the very beginning of this video, where you had Alfred in the Batcave turning something off. That something was Alfred. And what's being said right now to us is that this version of Batman, Zur and Ra, is telling us that the only other person that knew about Failsafe is, of course, or was, of course, Alfred. And Alfred had the codes to basically shut down Failsafe just in case he had to. The problem is right now, Alfred is dead, which means that there has to be another way to actually shut down Failsafe. And so right now, it all comes down to the Batman of Zur and Ra. Now, of course, you do have Failsafe being able to actually find Batman and Robin. And when he does, it does lead into another battle. Now, here's the problem, though. When it comes to the Batman of Zur and Ra, he was not there when the other Batman was fighting against Failsafe, meaning that he doesn't know about all the different injuries that basically Bruce Wayne had taken earlier in the storyline. And so when he and Robin tries to fight against Failsafe and tries to use different things he has in mind that could possibly stop Failsafe, it's not working. But on top of that, he's moving too slow because his body is so injured right now. And so you have Tim Drake telling him, hey, you may be a different Batman, but you're still in the same body as the other Batman was using, which means you are still badly injured. If you want to win this, we have to actually find a good way to actually stop Failsafe, better than what we're doing right now. But then we actually pick up with Nightwing and the rest of the Bat family who was beaten up by Failsafe. Now, most of them are being taken away by ambulances, but when it comes to Nightwing, he is okay and he's trying to continue on. And so right now you have Nightwing actually calling up Oracle for two reasons. One, to make sure that Bruce and Tim are okay, but two, because it's Nightwing saying we need to call in some backup. We need to call in the big hitters. And it's kind of like, okay, clearly you're going outside the Bat family because Nightwing, you are the big hitter when it comes to the Bat family. And so getting back over to Batman and Robin, they are about to fight against the Failsafe program once again. But while you have the two characters actually getting ready, I do want to point something out actually. As a matter of fact, it comes in later in this story. But while you have Failsafe actually appear, you do have Batman and Robin get back into battling against Failsafe again. Now, we already know they're going to lose, but this brings up two very important moments. And what I mean by that is, while you have Batman fighting against Failsafe, he's losing. He's losing once again. But remember, this is the Batman of Zur and Ra, another persona in Batman's mind. But on top of that, though, you have Zur and Ra actually talking to Failsafe and saying that Tim Drake is not his son, that Tim Drake is his soldier against criminals, against evil. Now that right there is actually very important. And the reason why, because earlier we saw Bruce Wayne say that he looks at the Bat family as his daughters and sons. He cares for them like he is their father. He loves them. But because he changed personas and this persona is just Batman, no Bruce Wayne at all, this guy looks at the Bat family as soldiers. But then you have Bruce Wayne come in and say, Batman, Azur, and Ra, you are failing. And the reason why you are failing, because when you made Failsafe, you made Failsafe for you. You didn't make Failsafe for Bruce Wayne. You made Failsafe to stop Batman, not Bruce Wayne. And so I need to take back over because we need a Batman that uses both Batman and Bruce Wayne, which is me. Oh, by the way, Tim Drake is not a soldier. Tim Drake is my son. Now, even though you do have the regular Batman back again to fight against Failsafe and try to use the mind of Bruce Wayne and Batman as a way to stop Failsafe, Failsafe kind of already knows all the different plans that Bruce Wayne or Batman would possibly use to basically stop him. And so right now we have Failsafe once again just beating down on Batman like dude cannot catch a break at all. Now, here comes the problem though, because right now you have Batman basically broken, where it seems like he is about to die. He's about to be killed off by Failsafe. Then all the flames in the house just goes away. And someone begins to talk to Failsafe from behind. And we're kind of like, wait a second, who is it? Who just came in to save the day? Now remember, Nightwing said it's time to call in the big hitters. And one of those big hitters is Superman. Now Superman is going to step in and help Batman stop Failsafe and to save the day. And so then we jump into Batman number 128. Now you would think that because we have Superman here, that everything is going to be wrapped up, everything is going to be a-okay, everything is going to be over now because the Man of Steel is here. But we have to remember that Failsafe was created to stop Batman. And so of course, Failsafe should be able to actually stop the Justice League. Superman. Because again, it's fail-safe. He knows how to stop Batman, which means he should know how to stop Superman, because Batman can stop Superman. And so you have fail-safe literally in like 3 pages takes out Superman by getting some kryptonite, stabbing him with it and saying, bruh, you went and messed up by coming here. You should have stayed home and let your best friend die. And so you have failsafe kind of like, well, that's it. Now, luckily for Superman, he did bring in the rest of the Justice League. Wait, that's not lucky at all. Because again, this is failsafe. The man was made to stop Batman. The man should know how to stop Superman, which means the dude should know how to stop the other members of the Justice League. And so you do have Black Canary, you have Hawkgirl, Martian Manhunter, and Green Arrow coming in like, we got this, bro. We're going to save the day. And of course, they're getting their butt kicked because again, failsafe knows how to stop them like he knows how to stop Batman and Superman. And so they're trying their best, but now it comes down to the idea of, okay, we have to get you guys out of here. We got to get Superman and Batman both out of here right now. Batman got beat up by failsafe, so did Superman, but also was stabbed with kryptonite. So they gotta leave. Tim Drake, get them on the jet, get them out of here. We'll try our best to hold him off. Now, of course, they really can't hold failsafe off because again, he was the perfect machine to basically be made to stop Batman, which means he should be able to stop the Justice League, which he honestly does. Now, once you have Tim Drake leaves, you have failsafe also leave, but he doesn't follow Tim Drake, Batman, and Superman. Instead, he actually goes somewhere else. He goes back towards Gotham. Now, the Justice League actually follows failsafe to Gotham, and you think like, okay, they're going to try to have one big last battle against failsafe in Gotham to hopefully finally defeat him. Now, luckily for the Justice League, they'll have Nightwing there, right? No, not lucky at all, because what happens next is brutal for all of them. Because what happened is that we have to remember, failsafe again was created to stop Batman, but on top of that, failsafe is actually kind of like the mind of Batman, just put inside a machine, which means that failsafe has plans or has programs to basically use as a way to stop the Justice League. And so even though they follow him to Gotham, even though there's more of them with all these different kinds of powers, what failsafe basically did in Gotham was set up a trap for them. And so as soon as the Justice League arrived, Nightwing got there, bam, 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 all taken out left and right. Because again, failsafe was made to stop Batman, but at the same time, because he's stopping Batman, it means he knows what Batman would do to stop the other members of the Justice League. But getting back over to Batman, Superman, and Tim Drake, Robin, you do have Robin kind of heading towards the Fortress of Solitude. Now, this is the moment you have Batman realize that sooner or later, when it comes to failsafe, he's going to go to the Fortress of Solitude. And if he does, of course, that means that basically he'll be able to possibly kill off Superman and Tim Drake just to get to Batman. And so you have Batman say, drop me in the middle of the ocean, but Tim Drake, I want you to make sure that you basically take Superman over to the Fortress of Solitude so that he'll be able to actually recover. Now, you do have Bruce Wayne actually jump out of the jet and he falls in the middle of the ocean. Now, the reason why he does that, because of course, a character we all forget about sometimes, Aquaman, lives in the ocean. And so you have Aquaman coming over to save Bruce Wayne's life and take him to Atlantis as a way to actually hide from failsafe for the time being. And this is where things get even worse. Let me explain, y'all. Let me explain. Because you actually do have Batman wake up in Atlantis, and of course he's mostly recovered thanks to Atlantis tech. Now, with that being said, he comes to find out that he has been asleep for 2 entire weeks. And with that, Gotham has now fallen completely under failsafe's control. Other heroes who have tried to go into Gotham have basically been stopped by failsafe, which honestly makes sense because again, failsafe was made to stop Batman, which means failsafe should know how to stop other heroes like Batman because again, he was made to stop Batman. Either way, you have Aquaman telling Batman, listen, Gotham is gone. It's under his control. Heroes have been captured. Heroes are keeping away. Your bad family has also been captured. And so with all these different things basically happening right now, you cannot go to Gotham. But I do want to tell you, you do have basically failsafe always keeping the bat signal on. And with the bat signal always being gone, that basically means he's calling out for you and he is trying to call you out so that he can finally kill you off. And so getting into Batman number 129, we actually do pick up with Batman right now telling us that Gotham has fallen into complete chaos. And the reason why, because when it comes to failsafe, he wasn't made to stop crime. He was only made to stop Batman. And so right now, there's no heroes in Gotham. And the reason why, because those other heroes are trying to stop him. And so they're in his way to completing his mission. And so for failsafe, he's like, listen, you're in my way. My goal is to stop Batman. But if you try to stop me, then yes, I'm going to basically capture you. And so right now, Gotham has complete chaos because there's no heroes out there to protect Gotham. Because if any hero tries to go into Gotham, well, of course, they'll get stopped by failsafe. And so right now, it's Batman realizing he has to go out there, fight for his city, and destroy failsafe. And so we did pick up with Batman and Aquaman. Now, this is actually very important. And the reason why, because you have Batman actually talking to Aquaman to give him a quick rundown about failsafe. But on top of that, this is Aquaman realizing that Batman had put Atlantis in harm's way because now failsafe would do whatever he wants to do to get here to get to Batman. And so you have Batman realize, yeah, Aquaman is right. But on top of that, you have Batman tell Aquaman the problem was about this whole process was only giving Alfred access to basically shut down failsafe. Because remember, we saw at the very beginning of this video, Alfred was able to turn failsafe off. And the reason why, because just in case something like this happened, where of course false news was being spread across Gotham saying that, oh yeah, Batman had killed somebody, Alfred would be there to turn it off. But the problem was though, Alfred is dead right now. And so when failsafe read the news, he was like, oh, Batman killed someone? Okay, turn on, try to hunt him down and basically kill him. And so right now, it's Batman kind of like, I should have gave Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, someone else I could definitely trust to shut down failsafe just in case something like this happened. And the problem is though, Alfred was the only one who had the codes to shut down failsafe. And really, Aquaman was right, because you have failsafe right now kind of controlling Oracle and have her reading the different activities of other heroes who are right now trying to get to Gotham or do something to failsafe. And when it comes to all the heroes, they all basically tried except one. Aquaman, 0% of him trying anything at all towards Gotham or failsafe, which tells failsafe, oh, Batman's right now in Atlantis. Cool. Now I know where to go. So when Aquaman said, hey, you're putting my city in harm's way, yeah, he was right, because here comes failsafe right now looking for Aquaman. And honestly, it doesn't take that long, because as soon as we see failsafe realize, oh yeah, I know where Batman could possibly be at, you have failsafe go straight to Atlantis. He basically runs through there to look for Batman. Now you do have Aquaman tell his soldiers to do whatever they can to basically stop failsafe, but the problem is though, failsafe is just too strong. He has Amazo tech, and I just realized I did not tell you guys why he has these capabilities of beating everybody in the Justice League, because with the Amazo tech, he's basically able to somewhat adapt to different superheroes' abilities, sometimes being able to actually take their powers. Now in this case, it's really more of him just being able to adapt to different superheroes' abilities. But either way, you have failsafe being able to take out Aquaman, to take out all the soldiers in Atlantis. But when failsafe gets into the room where he believes Batman should be at, Batman's already gone. And it's kind of like, okay, where did Batman go now? And so rest of the book actually takes place on the watchtower for the Justice League. And so with that being said, that means Batman went to space because he used the teleporter in Aquaman City, Atlantis, to teleport over to the watchtower. Now, Batman already knows Failsafe knows where he went to. And so at first, you have Failsafe going around and destroying all the different teleporters that Batman could possibly use, except for one. Because again, when it comes to Failsafe, he wants to make sure he has a way to get back to Earth after he possibly kills off Batman. And so while you have Batman right now on the watchtower, he's basically making a plan that could actually stop Failsafe. Maybe. We don't know yet. But with that being said, while you have Batman trying to make this product that could possibly stop Failsafe, well, that is the moment, of course, you have Failsafe appear. And when he does appear, well, of course, we get another battle between Batman and Failsafe. Except this time, it goes throughout the entire watchtower. Now, with that being said, throughout this entire battle, two important things actually happen. First, you have Batman being able to blast something at the back of Failsafe. Now, of course, it didn't do anything crazy to Failsafe, but it did crack his outer shell, something Batman was really trying to do. But then you have Batman run to the last teleporter that he has saved, and of course the one Failsafe had not destroyed back on Earth either, because they're connected to one another. Either way, you have Failsafe realize what Batman is trying to do. He reversed the teleporter to basically release a huge amount of energy. Now, the reason why? To send Failsafe right back down to Earth to the Hall of Justice. Now, that does destroy the rest of the watchtower and kind of leaves Batman right now floating in space, but the main purpose of this thing right now was to make sure Failsafe is back on Earth for the final part of Batman's plan. Now, as we get into the final issue of this storyline, we do pick up with Batman basically finding a way to get back down to Earth. And honestly, he does go through a whole process for the first chunk of this book. And honestly, it's one heck of a process. It's just kind of like, dude, why? I mean, I know why. It's Batman. Like, he has to do the most craziest thing that a regular man could possibly do. Either way, you do have Batman being able to actually find a way to get back down to Earth. And when he does, of course, he crash lands like a total bad you-know-what. Like, I'm Batman. Did y'all really think I would die off that easily? Nah, it takes a whole lot more to kill me. But then you have Batman realize he must continue on with his plan if he's going to actually be able to stop Failsafe here and now. And so we do see Batman actually go to the Fortress of Solitude. Now, when he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, this is Batman basically telling Superman, hey, listen, I need your help. I need you right now to be a decoy just long enough so I'm able to actually pull this plan off. But Tim Drake, you and I are going to have to work together one more time to actually be able to stop Failsafe here and now. Now, of course, if you're a Superman fan, you should be worried for Superman because we saw earlier Failsafe beat down on Superman so easily, and he's about to do it right now again. Like literally right now, because you do have Superman go out there to be a decoy for Batman to fight against Failsafe. And when you have Failsafe fight against Superman, yeah, at first it does look like maybe Superman could last a tad bit longer than he did last time when he fought against Failsafe. But you still have Failsafe basically beat down on Superman. And it's kind of like, yep, saw that happening all over again. But then you have Failsafe say, you know what, it's time for me to finally go after Batman and Robin. And so we actually jump into this final battle situation for Batman and Robin against Failsafe. Now, we do see the fight actually go on, and honestly, it's kind of cool because it's Batman having a Robin again. And yes, I know he had Damian Wayne for years and years and years, but if you're a Batman fan like I am from the 1990s, his Batman was Tim Drake. Tim Drake was a fan favorite Robin for so many years until you had DC kind of force Damian Wayne on us, which honestly, I like Damian. I just like Tim more. Either way, you do have Batman and Tim working together as a great team to be able to actually stop Failsafe. And when I say stop, what they do is, well, Batman does, he basically uploads a new kind of program to Failsafe. Now, this new kind of program is to give Failsafe compassion, and hoping that that compassion will be just good enough to actually talk some sense into Failsafe to basically say, hey, listen, what you heard on the news is basically wrong. I am not a killer. I did not kill Penguin. You basically were activated on false things happening. And so with that being said, I need you to actually shut down right now. But here's the problem though, because even though Failsafe was given a new program, even though he was given the ability to have compassion, Failsafe did show somewhat of compassion when it came to Batman. But what I mean by that is Failsafe realizing that it's better off to go ahead and kill off Batman quickly rather than just keep going on with this punching and kicking method. And so you have Failsafe say, here's my compassion. Let me go ahead and end your life quickly though, Batman, so that you don't suffer, that you basically die and everybody can move on. And so you have Failsafe actually kill off Batman, it seems like. And so you have Tim Drake fall to his knees because right now it looks like Batman just got killed. Like literally, he just got vaporized. And so everybody's kind of like, well, not everybody, just Tim Drake. But you have Tim Drake like, oh my God. I thought that whole program was going to work and it failed. And now here we are, Batman is dead. But as soon as Batman dies, you have Failsafe say, yep, time for me to go ahead and just deactivate and basically shut down because I am now quote unquote done my mission. I killed off Batman and I can now leave and go back to the Batcave. But to kind of leave us on a cliffhanger, we actually see that Batman is not dead. Matter of fact, Batman was teleported. He teleported somewhere else in the world. Really injured because, again, he was hit with a blast by Failsafe, but he's still alive. And the question is, though, where is he? And on top of that, how in the world did this man teleport across the world? What's going on here? And so with that being said, I do hope you enjoyed today's comic book video. And if you do, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.